Okay, we're rolling in here. Let's do it in 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, go!
When the kids are counting sheep.
You better hit this, Jason. You better hit this note.
When the kids go to sleep.
It's all about their last note. This is when the kids go to sleep. Right here. 1, 2.
When the kids go to sleep.
Yes! We always try to sing. What?
I'll do the applause.
Roth, I'm sorry. I'm gonna mess. Roth's always in here like, is that good? Is that good? And I'm always like ignoring him. I think because I put my chair up a little bit. There we go. Boop, boop. Now Blake's gonna be pissed because I'm not level. I'm sorry.
Jay, don't mess
now
with the way it
Jason's taller
is.
and I'm shorter and funnier and I'm dumber.
Every day.
Welcome to the podcast, Wtkgts, right here in Los Angeles, California at Maker Studios.
Or school.
Or school, or
when
script writing.
School,
last time we
script
decided
writing, soccer
practice, Slayer concert, whatever.
A Slayer concert?
Yeah.
I've seen Slayer in concert.
Have you?
I interviewed Slayer.
You what?
I used to be really into the music scene, and I interviewed like tons of bands. That's all I used to do in New York. I was, before YouTube or any of that. Yeah, all I did was I did a lot of music with shows.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just so y'all know, the voice that you just heard is one
Slayer
and only
fanatic.
Jason
Horton. Show us
Yes.
your Slayer tattoo. Did you get that removed?
It's my whole body, but it's just in flesh color. It's just all skulls and stuff like that.
It's a poignant
Yeah.
montage to Slayer. All right, so welcome to the podcast. Let's do a little bit of business, and we'll get to our guest. Yes, we have Jason Horton on the show with us today. But we have our whiteboard of destiny here. We have to talk about
whiteboard of destiny.
we have to sell out as much as possible.
I think some of that is written on from a different podcast. So yeah,
maybe not some of that. Well, one thing I'm supposed to announce is that this little piece of paper I have, this is ShayCarl Volcom shirts are available. Go check them out on Rodeo Arcade. Some of
they're
you
awesome.
Were PO'd, and that stands for pissed off because they weren't shipping to Europe, and then for some reason shipping to Canada was really expensive. But you can go check them out on rodeoarcade.com right now. Different color designs. What are they called?
So do we know if that's going to happen in the future, or we don't know?
What?
The shipping to Canada and the...
I don't know. Just go check them out on District Lines. You'll find out. We got the red one, the white one that Mommy Tired wears with her yellow pants.
Rodeo Arcade.
What'd I say?
District Lines.
Rats.
Do you want to
Rodeo Arcade. Yeah, Rodeo Arcade. Go check out the Rodeo. I love that name. Do you sell shirts through Rodeo Arcade?
I do. The Two White Guys podcast shirt that you're wearing.
Snap! Check it out!
Is on Rodeo Arcade, and it's 25% off. You put TWG podcast on it.
I remember when I first heard that was going to be the merch arm of Maker Studios, and I was talking to Brian, who's like the head of that, and I was like, Rodeo Arcade? That's like two cool things put together.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love? I was thinking it'd be like our logo would be like a cowboy riding like an old Pac-Man game or something. Like, can you picture that?
It's a very cool name for stuff on there that's not that cool. The name is way. No, I'm kidding. Everything on there is great. I don't know. It's on there great.
Ray William Johnson has some cool shirts.
Yeah. No. Yeah. The name is cooler than the stuff that's on there. The name is that cool. The stuff on there is cool. The name is so cool that nothing can...
It's just like, oh, that's Rodeo Arcade. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was cool. And then that's really all we had for business. I am running in the St. George Marathon. I've had a lot of questions about when my next event was. It's kind of good that I kind of set a goal of a New Year's resolution at the beginning of this year to run 4 marathons.
Run 4. How many will that be after that?
It'll be 3.5.
It's not that many considering how many marathons go on each year in the world.
Right.
So
I could have committed to a lot more marathons.
Just saying. I mean,
Slayer has run alone like 12 marathons.
Heavy metal marathons. They've run them all.
So yeah, I ran Los Angeles, Nashville, the half in San Francisco, and then I will run the full in St. George. So I've kind of been saying to myself, I'm going to try to qualify for Boston because I would love to be able to run the Boston Marathon.
When is the Boston one?
I don't know. It's going to be a lot of pain though because it is. It's really, really tough to qualify for Boston. So if I was gonna qualify for Boston, it's not something like I'll try to qualify for Boston. It's like you have to work your freaking butt off if you're gonna get the time that is required to be able to run the Boston Marathon. It's like one of the oldest, longest running races there is. And they found I was researching this thing on it about when they finally made a qualifying time to get into this race, it became a lot more competitive. All of a sudden, like way more people wanted to do it. Anyways,
exclusivity.
So I know you guys want to talk about running here on the podcast. Okay, so Jason Horton is our guest today. Yeah. Bless his heart. He has graced us with his presence.
Are you ready?
He's a Renaissance comedy man. Jason is.
Yeah, no, I mean, for as long as I wanted to do things, I wanted to do comedy, and especially through YouTube and a city like Los Angeles, I'm able to kind of like do a lot of it in a lot of different ways, and I was thinking about this morning before I came in here, and I kind of bring this up sometimes in podcasts. It's like, if there was no YouTube, which there will always be YouTube,
right?
YouTube, it will never go anywhere. But if there was no YouTube, like, what would I do? And I know I would still be able to create comedy and kind of get what I think is funny out and be happy with that. However, the YouTube helps a whole lot.
Right.
So
that's interesting. Go ahead, babe.
Let's talk for a minute. Mm-hmm. How did you guys meet, and how did you first start with YouTube?
Like, you were there when we first met.
I know, but I want to.
Okay.
Everyone doesn't know that. That isn't common knowledge.
Playing coy. You were there. What do you mean?
I was there.
Oh, you're doing it for them. Okay, I get it.
Well, I started kind of like, with Totally Sketch is how I kind of got involved in all of this, and then before it was even just trying to think of the timeline. Before it was Maker, it was just the station, right? That's what you called it, right?
Well, the thing I think was a misconception is that it's always been Maker Studios. Like when we started the company, when we got the name of the company, we got our like tax ID number and everything. It was Maker Studios, but the station was like our YouTube channel,
our flagship channel.
Yeah, I always knew it of from the station, and I think I did Hot Girls was probably the first kind of Maker the Station video I did with Cassim and Lisa, and a lot of these things I just show up as an actor, because I've done Funny or Die videos, or with Upright Citizens Brigade I've done a lot of videos, but I just show up as a comedian, as an actor, kind of not realizing like the community and stuff like that. But I think I just met you, obviously I started watching videos, and yours is you're one of the big parts of it, so yeah.
So had you known what YouTube was before, or was it kind of like, what?
I thought it was for me to like look up guitar, like how to play Bruce Springsteen songs or something on the guitar.
Right.
And then I started watching, like, I think the first ones I watched were like, Michael Gallagher was like, oh, watch this girl, Justine, and Shane Dawson, because I did a video with them, and I watched this, and I was like, why does like I ate a cheeseburger have like all these millions of views, and there's like all these like people that put up these like great comedy content, but I realized it was something different. I was like, yeah, but I am kind of like sucked into it. So it was, I learned quickly like, oh, I can like maybe start pointing this back at myself.
Right.
And then hundreds of views later, here I am.
Yeah, here you are. Well, speaking of you doing entertainment stuff like that, you moved out to Los Angeles how long ago? About 10 years ago?
I moved to California 10 years ago from New York. Moved to San Diego first. Never been to California. Never visited, but I'm just very impulsive like that, and I always wanted to get out and see something new. So I moved to San Diego, and then I started commuting up to LA to do improv comedy, to take classes. So I started doing that, and then I was just like, I need to move to LA.
Yeah. So here's one thing. I was just watching one of your last Two White Guys podcasts, and you did a live podcast with Horatio Sands from Saturday Night Live, which is, he works at Maker Studios.
Well, that's how we were in the writing room together. We wrote together, and I was just like, you're doing my podcast, and it's like, it's not going to be worth it to say no, because I'll never stop bothering you.
And you have to come to work tomorrow, and I'll be here.
Well, he's
I'll ask you again.
Yeah, he's from the iOS and UCB, so it was kind of like he knew the place and stuff.
Explain what that is. Like, you're using all these acronyms.
Sure.
Like
UCB is the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater that a lot of very popular people from like The Office and a lot of Judd Apatow people have come from. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. iOS is Improv Olympic, the old name, and a lot of people like Tina Fey got their start there, and there's places like Second City and like Steve Carell and Colbert.
It's kind of like professional drama club. For those of you, like, I remember when I first moved to LA, I was like hanging out with Danny and Lisa and Ben, and they're talking about UCB and all this. I'm like, what is this?
What
what are these different like clubs or whatever? And it's basically, when you move out to LA, you start doing improv, and some of these actors like he's talking about, like Judd Apatow, who's worked with Adam Sandler and all these guys. They've started in these places where they do these little shows in these little rooms where there's like 40 people can fit.
Oh, that's a lot. I mean, sometimes that's like 40 is great. I've done in front of I've had great shows in front of 3 people, and loved it.
Yeah, and that's I had the opportunity to talk to who does Price is Right now? What's his name?
Wayne Brady.
No. He's the
Oh,
host.
Drew
Carey.
Drew Carey, yeah.
And he was talking about. I don't want to like give up his idea, but he was talking about how there's so much great comedy in LA, but like nobody gets to see it because they're at these tiny theaters. You know, there's this improv comedy that's happening that nobody gets to see. And he was talking to us about maybe developing a YouTube channel. Kind of highlighting some of this improv comedy.
I think that would be. I mean, anything I can do to support these. I mean, I see there's no shortage of funny people and great talent, especially in these communities, and they do not get their due. And I think that would be great. I mean, they need like a bigger, they just need a bigger audience. It deserves it.
That's a great thing about YouTube. You say like, well, if YouTube ever wasn't here, that's what it kind of like. What would I do if there wasn't YouTube? And I never was.
Just keep running more marathons.
Yeah, I'd be a professional runner. Yeah. Because I never set out to do this. I never wanted to be an entertainer, or never even like considered that as an option for a career until I saw YouTube. So for somebody like you who kind of was doing that before YouTube came along, I think there's kind of like these different avenues. And sometimes I feel like maybe I cheated the system a little bit because, like there's a lot of people who watch us and it's just me and my family.
But you're being genuine, so I don't think that's cheating. Like as long as you're not, faking it or doing something just because I think this will make me money or people will like me because of this. As long as it's genuine, I think that's the same. It's the same as anyone else.
What I mean, I guess, by cheating is that there's definitely people who are out there who are working to get their comedy out there that are anxiously trying to get in entertainment things and have people watch them. And there's very talented people, like you say, and they're only being seen by these small sections of people that are going to these comedy clubs and seeing this stuff.
It's also on them, though. I mean, there's people that they're like, hey, listen, I'm in LA, I'm funny, give me stuff. And they're not really willing to explore something like the internet or like the digital space. So that's also, it's also on them. I mean, just do the work. Right. And
there's a lot of avenues now. Like you can't, the cream will rise to the top. There's the age of Hollywood where it's like you got to know somebody, you got to sleep with the right person, you got to go to the right place. I feel like that is kind of like eroding where you can get on Twitter if you're funny, you just got to get a few people to see it, and then people will retweet or share, and the cream will rise to the top, and the funny people will eventually make it out there. Hopefully that's the hope, that free freedom of comedy will flow.
So Jason, you started doing YouTube. Now tell us how you got to this point where you have won the YouTube Next comment.
Dude, you in the money. dollar bills, y'all. Can we borrow?
Some people say like
your lunch is on you, right?
Oh yeah, all lobster water and everything. Some people say like, and I want to say YouTube Next Top Comic, but it reminds me of this like kind of like Next Top Chef type stuff.
I know. Right. So it's called the YouTube Next Comic.
I think it's part of the Next Up program. There was and I was I was in Atlantic City, New Jersey with my family, and I remember getting like the email late, and I was so excited because I hate to say this, but I'm one of those people that don't ever win. You know what I mean? Like I am kind of one of those people that like don't ever win anything, and just to be recognized. I mean, they had 16 people, and I imagine thousands and thousands of probably equally as funny people. I'm not, there's no shortage, I said, of funny people, but I was just so excited to be recognized, and the dollar bills and stuff like that. Which there are none. There's no dollar bills, everyone.
Just so you know.
Please keep watching his videos. But what did you get? Like, you got some camera equipment?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
before I came here, I'm like, I don't know. I do comedy. I write. Technically, aside from like iMovie, I'm not good. So I have all this camera equipment that other people would probably salivate over. Right. This is one of those things where it is not fair. I will say this is not fair, the stuff I have. And I'm just pulling things out. And I'm one of those people, I will not look at
I'm the same way.
I won't look at it. I'll use it. And if it breaks, it breaks. If he dies, he dies. You know, like Karate Kid or whatever, or Rocky. So I have all this great equipment, but I rely on a lot of other people because they're like, well, you're a good editor, you're a good shooter. Like, I'm not gonna like be like I can do everything when other people are good at it. But I feel like I got all this great stuff. Now I can learn something. I can learn something new, and so it's a lot of equipment and some Google AdSense stuff that's gonna come, and some mentoring that's gonna start this week. We have these like Google Hangouts where they're gonna tell me how to be super rich.
They're gonna solve all the world's problems.
Yes. I think it's just a great networking opportunity, really. Like,
yes.
I already collabed with one of them when I was in Florida. I never did a collab in Florida,
right.
But I collabed with this guy Dashi XP, and he's great, and he wanted to, and we hung out and kind of talked shop, and it's just amazing because everyone's in LA or
right.
New York, so it's just great to kind of talk to somebody who's like, yeah, I love living in Florida, and we both won this thing, and I'm collabing with this group, the Clunes, this week as well. I'm getting back into doing more sketch on my channel and not just podcasts. So I've just been writing for other people, like
right.
whoever, Totally Sketch or whoever.
Michael Gallagher is Totally Sketch,
yes.
by the way.
Yes.
So two things I want to talk to you about. One, Michael's movie that you're in, but we'll come back to that.
It's my movie that Michael directed.
That he directed and raised the money for and did all that stuff.
All that.
So in the podcast that I was watching recently when you had Horatio Sanz, Horatio Sanz he's a kind of like, in my mind, like he's a big deal. He was on Saturday Night Live. I remember skits that made me crack up where he was that dude. He had like these huge muscles, and he was like singing, and he's just a funny guy, and has been around a lot of famous people. And you talked about in your podcast that you're sitting there with Horatio Sanz, and like you realize like, wow, like I'm sitting here with this guy who's has kind of made it in a sense, and he's on your podcast.
It's absolutely amazing. Even though I'm sitting there, I always geek out about everything. I don't do anything. I'm like, ugh, I have to do this. Like even sitting here right now, I was like, this is great. Like you've done a lot of these other podcasts, and the fact that I'm on it too, it's just like, oh, I feel like I'm in like really good company. But yeah, just sitting there with him, it's like I nerd out because he came from this. You're welcome. He came from kind of the same place and kind of pioneered a lot of stuff. And, being on Saturday Night Live is a lot of people's ultimate goal. Like, yeah, I made it. I'm good if I'm on Saturday Night Live, even if it's for one season. And he did that plus, and he still has a lot of longevity, but he also has come from the same place I have in a way. So there's just like really great kinship, and just to sit on the stage, just that. For somebody to say, yes, you can be on the stage and you can take an hour to do what you want or what Josh and I want, and to sit there with like Mo Collins, and we've had a bunch of other people that wanted to do it. Like Andy Dick was going to do it, like Barinholtz. Andy Dick would have been another story, but there's a lot of people that were like, yeah, like I would love to do it, but it's just scheduling. But yeah, I'm always honored to if somebody takes a minute to watch one of my videos, if somebody gives me 20 minutes to perform on stage, I'm always like really stoked.
And I think that's a good point to make, is that like, sure, you need to make money because you need to live in this earth, and earth requires money to have things to survive, to sustain your life. But that's the real gist of why you do this, because you want to create these things and then have people see them, and just to get that opportunity to be able to collaborate with people like Horatio and us,
I mean, we're so awesome. So.
Yeah, I mean, it can't. If when it's money first, I think people fail and then they move back to wherever they live. But you know what? I mean, it gives more room for people like us that are like, if I don't make money from this, so what? I'm doing something awesome.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is like first time. I'm excited for Michael's movie to come out. You guys don't know Michael Gallagher of Totally Sketch. That's how we first met. Jason was in this series that was kind of like, the gist of it was, what if the ShayCarls, we do, our daily video series, was all an act? What if they were hired actors? And Jason played the part of an agent.
Which I do very often. Yeah. Agent, doctor, dad.
He has that look, So he was
model look.
He was
the
Baby Tart's
voice.
Agent. He was Malachi'S agent, I think.
Yeah.
And he was in that.
It's on the ShayCarl channel.
It's on the ShayCarl channel. But he was the agent, and that's when we first met. And that was the funny thing about Michael, was when he was like with the station from the very first, and he brought like all these talented actor friends with him. It was always like, oh, it's one of Michael's friends, like whether it would be you or Bree or.
That's how I met Michael, through Bree.
Oh, really?
And, and I used to be Steve's roommate. Green, we were roommates, and we met in San Diego, and we were roommates in LA for the first couple of years we were here. So
with all these friends that he brought, that were all like, that was the first time that like we had real actors, because before then it's like we were all YouTubers. Like
I know if Steve or Bree or anyone was sitting here and you said real actors, they would laugh like I'm laughing right now.
Well, I mean, you guys weren't YouTubers. You guys were people who were like, seeking after, you know, this entertainment industry and weren't like necessarily YouTubers. So I remember always feeling like kind of like intimidated because like, well, this guy has like done acting before, and to call you real actors maybe makes you laugh, but compared to me, who had never like even considered or even had that desire, I was just making YouTube videos and I had to act in them. You were an actor who came to act in our YouTube videos.
Right.
So now Michael has made a movie. He's made this horror movie called Smiley, and he's got some pretty, you know, you got Shane Dawson in it, you, Steve, and then
Dave Storm and Toby Turner, Nikki Limo,
all these people.
Brie, yeah.
Nikki just got what did she? Just
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
that's
really cool.
Yeah. Nikki and I have been BFFs for partners in crime for a while.
Is there like a little like?
She wants me so bad.
I don't want to bring it up.
She wants me so bad, but it's just like, come on, girl, let's keep it. No.
Keep it real.
But you know what? Like back, I mean, this is not so much now, but I always try to keep this illusion of like, you know, are you guys hooking up or you're not? Or,
it just seems like from the videos you guys do together, it's like there's
genuine chemistry in that sense, and I think that's why some of those videos do well, because it's not just like two people reading a script and faking it just to kind of get a point across.
But have you guys ever hooked up though? Honestly,
I mean, sexually, yeah, but not emotionally. No,
never reached that plateau.
We've never, we've never hooked up.
Her boyfriend.
Why did I wink? Why did I wink? Well, not my girlfriend. Might be watching
this. Snap!
Yeah, that's.
So yeah, you have a girlfriend. How long?
She
have you
likes
guys
to stir things up
I've
a
had
bit.
a girlfriend for about 8 months, and before that though, I was like just dating like crazy in LA. Okay, Cupid, comedians, whatever, and I learned a lot about myself.
Interesting.
Yeah, I learned a lot about myself through that. But I kind of like being back in a nice relationship that I can invest in,
right?
Rather than kind of, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, like dating sites are a lot.
Dating is work.
Oh, and then it's just a lot of just keeping up. Like it's just like juggling a lot. It's like whatever. It's like keeping a lot of balls in the air of these like different women.
I got hoes of different area codes. Is what he's trying to say, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. But when you're like, if you are successful like on YouTube or in comedy, or you're confident, or you say, you know, I've written a couple of films and I've had some success in that sense, or you know, did some commercials or something like that. Women are very impressionable in LA, and if you're like a little bit like charming, or you know how to, if you're confident or self-assured and self-aware, you can get away with murder. Guys who want to get into comedy,
come on, ladies,
you don't need a nice car or money.
Raise your standards, women.
No, lower.
No,
lower them about this level. Go right to this level.
Oh man,
yeah.
What was that?
Was that a boner noise? Play it again, Rob.
What is going on?
I love that noise. Or any of the whistles. Do you have a slide whistle?
Save that for the Two White Guys podcast, all right?
Yeah, where was that
during smut here? We got the special production value here on our podcast. Okay, so let's get to the movie. Smiley. When does it come out?
10/11/12. SmileyMovie.com. Yeah, I mean, Michael's been working really hard. I was lucky to be in it, and I was lucky to kind of watch him not direct like a sketch comedy thing, but to direct acting. Like it was really great. I felt like I learned a lot, and it's gonna be great. And I haven't seen the whole thing. When Nikki and I were at Mike's house, and we were like, he's like, you want to watch the movie? I was like, yeah, just our parts.
Yeah. Who cares about Shane Dawson or Toby Turner? I want to watch my part.
No, but we've seen some of the, and you know, at VidCon we spoke. We were on the. I think you introduced us.
Yeah.
And Grace, Daily Grace introduced us, and we walked out, and I was like, oh my, there's like thousands of people.
Could you believe how many people?
No, I didn't.
Like you were a slayer. You were like a rock star, dude. There was like 7,000 people. It was crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was very, very, very humbling and kind of sobering, and like what, you know, VidCon and YouTube and the community and fans.
I'll say, like I've done my fair share of like public speaking and stuff, but I would say that is the biggest crowd that I have ever addressed, like been on a stage and said, I am talking to all of these faces, and it almost was less scary for me because there were so many people. It seemed less intimate, so it was like it for some reason. There's only like 30 people. You're like looking into the faces of these 30 people,
and they want you to do well and say the right things, and they're happy for you, and you can kind of feel that. There's
an
the
energy,
stage.
Yeah. So we watched the preview. It's an actual horror movie. It's not like a spoof or
not at all.
I think with the name Smiley,
it looks
that kinda,
really scary.
It is really scary. I mean, there are like some light, you know what I mean? Obviously, like a lot of horror movies, there's maybe a little bit of camp to it, but it is pretty it's pretty scary, and it's shot that way, and it comes off that way, and like Shane's great. Like I almost was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, he's like, yeah, he's okay. I was like, I don't know. He's probably okay at this. And I was there, and I was like, wow, he's good.
Yeah.
He was good.
That's
like
awesome.
a real actor good. Like, you know, we were saying, like actors. Like,
actors. Well, I feel like with Shane, like he does a lot of comedy stuff, but I feel like he could do that. Well, what is his character in the movie? Can you give that away? Can you?
Yeah, he's this black guy, Tyrone.
Tyrone, what's up?
I think he's just like kind of like a nerdy, like kind of regular guy, kind of just in this kind of just like in this world, and he's kind of like him, but like a very kind of like if you were talking to Shane,
yeah,
not Shane on his YouTube videos, which is sometimes him. Yeah, but he's great. I was kind of stunned on how good he was.
So are there main characters?
Yeah, there is a girl, Caitlin Gerard. I think I just saw her. She was in Magic Mike for a bit, and she's the AMC girl. Like, you ever see the AMC previews? If you go to you own a movie.
Right.
You own a movie.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys own a movie theater. You don't have to go to the movies.
Let's go to
There's and then there's the girl sitting there with blonde hair, and then like all the vines start.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
that's
her.
her?
Yeah,
No way.
Cool.
yeah.
I've seen that so many times.
Yeah.
Super nice. Everyone in it was great, and I didn't meet everyone, but I was only on it for 2 days, but it was great, and it's gonna do really well. I mean, the trailer has like 14 million views.
That's awesome.
So
it's going to be an interesting study in the release of feature films, where it's coming from a YouTube. Director, YouTubers are the main cast.
actors.
There's some other. I mean, you got some big names. Who's the black guy in that? What's his name?
Oh, Keith David.
Yeah. Is that him?
He's from movies like 80s movies. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. I've
and then
seen
Day
him.
Storm's the other one. I guess.
No, not Daystar. But I'm like that guy. Like you've seen him in like a ton of movies.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's gonna because he's releasing it pre-launch, like you can buy it before. Can't
You can buy it. You can buy it before, and I think there was a contest to be in it. There's like a thing where they show a bunch of whatever, and you could be in it and stuff like that. But I think they're like kind of like crowdsourcing it, where you could like have it in a theater near you as long as they have like enough votes, which should be really easy.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's gonna open the eyes to a lot of like Hollywood producers and stuff to see the numbers.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure
it's
it has
got.
already in some ways. I'm sure people are like ears are perked up.
Yeah, because that's I guess the natural question is like, okay, sure, you're making YouTube videos, but like when are you going to make your own movies? Which is the goal of Maker Studios.
Yeah.
We want to produce these things, that are feature length films and documentaries and all this kind of stuff. And Michael has just taken that first initial kind of astronaut for, small step for mankind.
On a kind of flip of that, a YouTube video I made, actually, I got talked into writing a screen like a full length feature of it, and that just got optioned.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so it's
So
getting.
wait,
Well,
what does
explain what
that
that
mean?
means. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
It's an option agreement to these producers are for a year, and they paid myself and the co-writer. The co-writer of this film, it's called Wingman.
Okay.
And it's one of my earlier on the Jason Horton channel. It's like a fake trailer that I just intended to be a fake trailer about Wingman, and I wrote it with an ex who was black. So interracial ex couple writes romantic comedy. That's that's my thing of it. And so they have it for a year, and they're taking it and they're bringing it to getting a director attached or a big actor attached, and you paid me to give you a year to or whatever amount of time to make this happen. But I was really, there's a lot of lawyers and things that I don't like or care about, and there's managers and stuff, but
it's the big first step in order to get a movie made.
I never, if you would have told me a couple of years ago, I used to like dig ditches in New York, like that's what I did.
Wow.
But yeah, so you worked in you were working class fool,
doing the granite countertop.
Yeah, and I was digging, so you understand, and to just have things, just to be talking
were you
to lawyers.
literally digging ditches?
Yeah, for the New York State parks, I was like digging ditches and like cleaning stuff for like rich people and stuff like that. Yeah.
But
What
did
a
we
crazy
get that
story.
Did we get that ditch dug in our backyard, by the way?
Do you want to? I mean,
I can go
don't know
right
if
after
you're
this.
still-
Right
Is
after
that cool?
right after, I'm already down here. I'm
He's
already
getting
down here.
scripts optioned.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, it is exciting. We met like it's been like 3 years now, and to see the thing develop, to see YouTube develop into, feature length movies are being made, you're writing scripts that are being optioned, you're interviewing Horatio Sands on your podcast. It's cool to see where it's gone. So I guess I get a question a lot, how do you make it as a struggling YouTuber? What advice would you give to those people who are watching who are, trying to make it or whatever on YouTube?
I mean, I think you have to, and you guys, I'm sure would agree, is just put out stuff that you genuinely want to do. Because I think if you try to be like, I'm gonna be like James Dawson, he has millions under his videos, and it's not real. You're not gonna want to keep doing it, and people are gonna see through that. So I think it's a lot of that, and it's also kind of getting good at what you do, and be willing to like wait.
Yeah. Right, be patient.
That's why enjoying the journey, is I always feel like I'm always taking only on the first steps, like, of a very long journey, and it's just putting a lot. I mean, the hours here are a lot more than working at some office job or some retail job, and the pay is a lot less. I mean, my car has a tape deck, so if anyone wonders how I'm doing, but I'm happy. Like, I'm happy with that. Like, the car runs though, so that's kind of how I feel about it. So just do what you love for the right reasons, and as long as you're somewhat consistent, I think, and collaborate with ShayCarl.
Get a shout out.
I think that's a lot of it. But
it's true. Awesome. It's true. As far as what you said is like being willing to wait, and that's true in life in general. Not only if you want to make it on YouTube, but you have to be able to work at something consistently over time. If you work hard at something, even if you work your butt off as hard as you can at something for a month, and then it's like, I'm not getting anywhere with this, I'm going to quit, you'll never succeed in anything. It's about that consistent effort over time.
There's like a 10,000 hour kind of like theory, right? I forget, there's like 10,000 hours. You do something for 10,000 hours,
then you're an expert.
Expert at it.
Yeah, it's called it's Malcolm Gladwell wrote this book called The Outliers, and it's like this theory that if you do something for 10,000 hours, like the Beatles, for instance, before they even came to America, they played live in this bar in Hamburg, Germany for 10,000 hours. So by the time they came and were on the Ed Sullivan Show, they were experts at playing for live shows, and that's how the Beatles.
But what have they done lately?
Yeah,
what have the Beatles done lately?
Anything. He played the Olympics, I guess. Paul McCartney.
Yeah,
I heard he got paid. He got paid 1 cent. He did that for free. He did the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
I was in a Beatles cover band years ago.
Loved being my cover band. I saw you tweet a picture of you in a band, and it was a while ago. You tweeted about a band that you were in junior high, and you said, "Guess which one is me?" I know. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, none of those are him. I'm like,
I was in my hometown. It was like a little bit upstate New York, outside the city, and it was just like a local like band, and it was like the worst. They're kids, but you know what? Hey, they're literally living their dream. But I took a picture of it, and I thought people would assume that like this is a relatively modern picture, and like no one thinks that I'm like 18.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was looking at the picture because normally it's like you can see, and it looked like it could have been like an old picture or something, but I'm like, that's not him. He's not in any of those pictures. So I was gonna ask him, like, did you get like some reconstructive surgery or something?
Yeah, but that's nothing. It's still not me in the picture.
Okay, right. But yeah, check out his reconstructive surgery. He has a link to that. But no, Jason is right. You got to do something that you love, and you got to be patient. It might take you 5 years to become successful. There's people who
or 10.
Haven't quit over 10 years. Becomes.
I've been in LA for 6 years and California for 10 years. So, and I feel like things are just starting to happen, and I work very, very hard.
Yeah.
For that.
So remember that, kids. You can't just try to do something for a few months, and if it doesn't work, then you're a failure. You have to work at it, and it might take you 5 to 10 to even 20 years. Colonel Sanders didn't become a successful businessman until he was, in his late 50s or 60s.
If you love it, it won't feel like that long.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be kind of part of the journey. Your success will grow as you go. But if it's something that you like to do, it won't seem like drudgery and 10 years of slaving away with no recompense. But anyways, work hard, never give up, and you'll make it.
Yay!
This sucks. Thanks, Jason Horton, for being on our podcast. Don't forget to download it below. Check out all his links to all of his sultriness down here below.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, Shay and Colette from Maker Studios signing out.